Remember when you were a teen exploring the world and having the time of your life? Well, while most of us were doing that, some kids were diving headfirst into the darker side of the digital world, the realm of hacking. Ever wondered what drives teenagers to become a hacking prodigy? What kind of stunts they pull off? Well, today we're counting down the top 5 teenage hackers of all time. Who are these young masterminds? Let's dive in and find out. First up, we have James Kosta, the 13-year-old teen who hacked literally everything. James Costa's early life was far from ordinary and was marked by turbulence. At just 13, he found solace in his computer and took refuge in it amid a troubled family situation and the stressful world. But his computer skills, curiosity, and knack for technology quickly turned into a profound skill for hacking. James took on an audacious task of hacking into major corporations and military systems. His targets included major banks, General Electric, and international business machines. This hacking spree of cyber intrusions didn't go unnoticed. At 14, James was finally found and convicted on 45 counts of technical burglary. The verdict was very harsh for a teenage boy like him. 45 years in prison. That's shocking, right? But fate had different plans for him. Recognizing the teen's talent and potential, a judge offered him a second chance. From that point onwards, James' life turned upside down, and for a change, it was in a good way. Instead of a prison cell, James found himself serving in the Navy at 18 as an intelligence analyst. His skills were put to use for national security. By 20, he was working for the Central Intelligence Agency, proving his skills in the high-stakes world of intelligence. James' successful transformation didn't stop there. At 24, he ventured into the tech industry and founded his first dot-com company. His entrepreneurial spirit paid off gracefully when he sold the company for millions. Fast forward to today, James Kosta is not only a successful businessman, but also a mentor and motivational speaker. His story serves as a testament to the power of redemption and incredible potential for change. But what happens when these hacking skills are used for something sinister? The next teenager on the list is the 14-year-old blind Matthew Weigman, who used his extraordinary hearing to trick telephone operators and fake various phone signals. Born on the 20th of April 1990, Matthew was raised in East Boston. He was legally blind due to optic nerve atrophy. Matthew was introduced to party lines at the age of 11. Party lines are shared service lines used by multiple telephone service subscribers. As his friends described, he was getting absorbed in these lines to the extent that he would spend days on them. And not long after, he started learning things from other party liners. This was recycled from a telecommunication hacker group known as the Phone Freaks of the 1980s, which is a form of hacking where people manipulate telephone systems to make free calls and eavesdrop on others' conversations. His first experience with freaking happened accidentally when he pressed the star and pound keys and found that he could access the numbers of all the callers on the party line. Now, in Matthew's case, he first used it to make prank phone calls, which soon escalated dangerously. By the time he turned 14, Matthew had gained an ample amount of knowledge. Born gifted, he could now memorize phone numbers just by listening to their tones, and could impersonate phone operators convincingly. He hadn't used this skill to do anything illegal until one day a girl refused to have phone sex with him during one of his party line sessions. Furious, Matthew dialed 911, spoofing the girl's number, and pretended to be a gunman holding her and her father hostage. This action led to his first swatting incident, where police stormed the house expecting a life-threatening situation. He realized that he could harass anyone who made him mad or upset by simply getting their number through the tricks. Later on, he learned to gain access to unlisted numbers from Verizon and AT&T by imitating being an employee. Once he got hold of this, it appeared he would never stop. But fortunately, he was apprehended on June 26, 2009, and he was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months by United States District Judge Barbara M.G. Lynn. Next up on the list, we have a teenager who hacked the one and only NASA. Meet Jonathan James, also known as Comrade in the hacker world. Imagine being just 15 years old and making headlines as the first juvenile in the United States to be convicted and jailed for hacking. Jonathan's story is a thrilling blend of youthful curiosity and high-stakes cybercrime. In 1999, Jonathan was hacking into major companies like Bell South and even the Miami-Dade school system. But his most audacious feat? Breaching the Department of Defense's systems. His hacking journey didn't stop there. He managed to infiltrate NASA's computer systems. Yeah, NASA. He accessed the source code responsible for the operation of the International Space Station. This wasn't just a digital joyride. His actions forced NASA to shut down its systems for 3 weeks, costing them a staggering 41 grand to fix the damage. Just imagine a whole space station being shut down because of a teenager. Jonathan was eventually caught and sentenced at 16. For someone so young, his exploits were as impressive as they were illegal. His sentence included a ban on recreational computer use, 6 months under house arrest and probation. However, after failing a drug test, he violated his probation and ended up serving 6 months in an Alabama prison. Fast forward to 2007, and the hacking community was rocked by a massive breach that affected major companies like Boston Market, Barnes & Noble, and OfficeMax. This was the infamous TJX hack, one of the largest data breaches in history. Despite Jonathan denying any involvement, he found himself under intense scrutiny from law enforcement. The pressure of the investigation weighed heavily on him. It was later revealed that James had been friends with some of the hackers involved. Even though he denied being involved in the intrusion, he was still searched by the Secret Service. The criminal complaint filed against the TJX hackers mentioned an extra unknown conspirator who wasn't charged and is only identifiable by the letters JJ. James's father considered JJ to be a son. However, it's possible that the letters JJ referred to Jim Jones, a hacker identity thought to be used by Stephen Watt. On May 18, 2008, Jonathan James was found dead in his shower from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. His suicide was driven by fears that he'd be prosecuted for crimes he hadn't committed. He had even left a suicide note which said, "I honestly had nothing to do with TJX. I have no faith in the justice system. Perhaps my actions today and this letter will send a stronger message to the public. Either way, I've lost control over this situation, and this is my only way to regain control." We'll never truly know what happened. This takes us to our next case. In February 2000, a 15-year-old high school student named Michael Calce, better known by his online alias Mafia Boy, shook the very foundations of the internet. Armed with nothing but a computer, Michael launched a series of denial-of-service attacks that brought some of the world's most reputed websites to their knees. Within a single week, giants like eBay, CNN, Amazon, Dell, and Yahoo were all targeted. Now, at that time, Yahoo was the world's leading search engine, far outpacing its competitors, including Google. Michael's attack, which he ominously dubbed Project Revolta, caused Yahoo to go down for about an hour, a devastating blow that sent shockwaves through the digital world. The scale of these attacks drew massive attention, not just from the media but from law enforcement agencies worldwide. It didn't take long before the authorities cracked down on the teenage mastermind. On February 15, 2000, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrested Calce at his home in Montreal. The case was a wake-up call to the vulnerabilities of the internet, revealing how a teenager could disrupt major corporations. The aftermath of his actions led to a high-profile trial. On September 12, 2001, the Montreal Youth Court sentenced Calce to 8 months of open custody, which allowed him to serve his sentence in a group home instead of a juvenile detention center. His punishment also included restricted use of the internet, 1 year of probation, and a modest fine. Years later, Calce transformed from a black hat hacker into a cybersecurity advocate. In 2008, he released his book, Mafia Boy: How I Cracked the Internet and Why It's Still Broken, providing an insider's perspective on his infamous exploits and the ongoing challenges in internet security. Now, buckle up as we get into the top hacker on our list today. Richard Pryce. In 1994, 16-year-old Richard Pryce, known online as Data Stream Cowboy, along with his 19-year-old partner, Matthew Weigman, also known as Kuji, launched a series of audacious cyber attacks on the Pentagon. Using a modest computer setup in his London bedroom, Pryce infiltrated highly secure U.S. military networks, including those of Griffiths Air Force Base in New York, NASA, and the Lockheed Space and Missile Company. Throughout their spree, the duo accessed sensitive information, such as battlefield simulations and artificial intelligence files, causing widespread alarm within the US government. The hackers were clever at evading detection by bouncing their signals through multiple countries before hitting their targets. Despite the Pentagon being aware of the breaches, Pryce and Bevan continued their exploits, even intercepting messages from US agents in North Korea and nearly causing an international incident by accessing a South Korean nuclear facility. After an extensive investigation, US agents, in collaboration with Scotland Yard, finally tracked Pryce down to his home in Colindale, North London. In May 1994, they arrested him while he was still online. They were shocked to find a tearful teenager instead of a seasoned criminal. Pryce's hacking activities, initially suspected to be the work of a sophisticated spy ring, were eventually dismissed as a high-stakes prank by a schoolboy with limited experience. Pryce faced legal consequences in 1996. He was fined £1,200 plus £250 in costs after pleading guilty to unauthorized access to computer systems. While the more severe conspiracy charges were dropped, the case highlighted significant vulnerabilities in U.S. military cyber defenses. And we've reached the end of our list. So what do you think about these cases? Do you have any other cases in mind that are still unknown? Feel free to comment down below and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss out on these videos. See you next time.